Okay. Okay.
Okay, perfect. We're live now. So, welcome everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us yet again on a Wednesday evening. Very happy to see you all here. Um, as you all know, we have with us Mr. Vivek Sharma, who's the investment head and a part of the founding team at Gulaq, and myself. Happy New Year, firstly, to all of you, because we're meeting you first time after the after the New Year. So we're very happy to also state that we've crossed 15,000 clients now. So a lot of people, we got a lot of interest at the beginning of the year, and we're very thankful to you for being part of the Gulaq family. To start with, of course, this webinar is special because we will cover the performance and our track record and how Gulaq portfolios have have performed as compared to the benchmark for the last entire year of 2023, last calendar year. And we'll, of course, be taking all your questions on the portfolios, the construction process, what is multi-factor investing, and any other operational issues that you face. So, Vivek, let me quickly give you the hosting rights so that you could also present the screen. Just one moment.
Sure.
Yeah, Vivek, if you could present the screen, please.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. We're live
Yeah,
now.
let me.
Yeah, Vivek. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's begin with the 2023 year in review presentation for today. As like every time else, we will be talking about ST and Gulaq for everyone who's new to the Gulaq family. So just to give you a brief on what ST is, it is a quantitative investment management firm which was started in 2008 when SEBI had permitted algorithmic trading in India. We are pioneers in creating investment products as well as broking products using analytics. And we run our PMS operations as well. Many of you are aware of it and are also part of it now. So we founded it in 2008. We operate in 8 countries, and we have an AUM of over 1,000 crores in our PMS division. 3 years back, we thought, why not offer these services to our retail clients as well? That is when we launched Gulaq. Okay, my team is telling me my voice is breaking. Can you hear me, Vivek? Okay, I'm not sure if my voice is breaking for everybody. Guys, if you could please comment and let me know so that I can adjust my...
Yeah, Eesha, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Vivek, you're sharing the screen again?
Yes.
I see a lot of questions coming in already.
Okay, Eesha, for me, it is showing host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay,
So
maybe I'll
you
have to...
need to make me the host.
Again, okay. I've just done it, Vivek.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were just discussing about Gulaq. So as you know, Gulaq was born 3 years back when we decided to offer our investment advisory services to retail clients at a lower ticket size. Very happy to share that we've crossed 15,000 clients now. We are present on both the platforms of small case as well as pick right, and we've been onboarded, by tons of brokers now. So earlier very few brokers were having us, but now brokers have also started shortlisting which advisors they feel are doing well, and we've been onboarded by a lot of brokers very recently to offer services to their clients via their trading apps. So that's a good news. That's an achievement we have had in the last year. Vivek, if you could please move to the next slide. It's stuck for me, Vivek. I can see the slide about ST right now.
Yeah, I'm unable to. One sec. I'm unable to. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Vivek. Yeah, so as regards our investment strategy, we follow a multi-factor algo-based approach about which Vivek would talk further in detail. But before that, just to take you through the disclaimers, because we are a SEBI registered investment advisor, we need to ensure that we are informing our clients of all the disclaimers and disclosures and letting them know that investing in the securities markets is definitely subject to market risks. So whether it's ST or otherwise, you should always read the documents, do your risk checks, take your risk surveys, analyze your risk appetite, and then only invest in the products. I think I missed one slide on the team. For the people who are new here, as you would know, some people would know that Mr. Sandeep Tyagi is the founder and CEO of both ST and Gulaq. He's an alumnus of IIT Delhi and Columbia Business School, USA. And he has 30 plus years of experience in portfolio management and analytics. Vivek, who's our speaker today, is the investments head at Gulaq. He's from IIT Kharagpur and he has 20 plus years of experience in trading and investment management. He was also heading a team earlier in Futures First. As regards me, I'm Eesha Gupta. I'm your moderator for today. I have completed my MBA from ISB and I have 5 plus years of experience in consulting research and the financial services industry. So very happy to invite you all to this webinar, and I hand it over to you, Vivek, to talk about our multi-factor investing approach and our investment philosophy that we've been following so far.
Thank you, Isha. Thanks a lot. So I'll talk about our methodology, what is factor investing, how we have tweaked factor investing internally to use it to select stocks. A lot of people, I think we got a lot of questions about our returns and all of that. And I think returns is actually the overall performance is just the output of our methodology here. So we are not actually focusing too much on returns. Our focus is on improving our process of selecting stocks. And this is what I'm going to talk about in the first part, where the method that we are using is factor investing. And what is factors? Factor is any factor that can actually impact stock price returns. So let's say these are the four most popularly used factors, but internally we are using almost more than 100 factors to select stocks. And these factors are typically like, for example, index, NIFT index inclusion or exclusion. So if a step bias negative for its stock price return, so index inclusion, exclusion is one of the factors. Another factor could be, let's say, institutional buying. So if institutions are buying that stock, that is another factor, or selling that stock. So these are the factors. These, I'll just quickly take you through the most commonly used factors. These are momentum, value, low vol, and quality. Now, momentum is a factor that is the most popular factor around. And what it is uh, simply speaking, it could be reflected by, let's say, past historical returns. That is one very simple way of defining momentum. And it is actually captured by, let's say, past 6 months returns. If I just take past 6 months returns, sort all the stocks in decreasing order of returns and just pick the top stocks, uh, that would be momentum factor. That would be, I'm using momentum as a factor to select. Some of the people or fund managers like to select undervalued stocks. So that is, they're using value as a factor to pick stocks, and it can be captured by price to book, price to earnings, or any of the other methods that I have mentioned here. And the third factor, low vol factor, again, very popular factor here. What happens is stocks whose prices are relatively less volatile, they are selected. And the way they are selected could be, one of the reasons could be through standard deviation, historical standard deviation. Right.
Vivek, I'm sorry to
And
interrupt. I think
lastly,
your voice has been breaking. Some people are commenting.
okay.
Yeah, maybe you can continue. Also, we have a request to speak in Hindi if possible. So maybe we could
Yeah.
do Hindi and English both.
Okay. Sure. And can we try one thing, Isha? Can you share the screen if that helps?
Sure, Vivek, I can do that.
Maybe we can try that out once. Yeah. I'll stop sharing my screen, and I'll try to speak both in English and Hindi. English. Yeah. Yeah, Eesha, can you hear me? Hello. I
Sorry, Vivek, I was on mute. Can you make me the host, please?
Yeah, one second. Yeah,
Thank you.
I made you the host.
Perfect. Just give me a moment. Yeah, Vivek, is my screen visible?
तो मैं ये एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था कि फैक्टर इन्वेस्टिंग क्या है, तो आई जस्ट क्विकली टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ, लेट्स से यू आर ट्राइंग टू सेलेक्ट एन आईपीएल, यू आर ट्राइंग टू मेक अ टीम इन आईपीएल। तो आप उसमें क्या करेंगे कि आप कुछ बॉलर्स लेंगे, कुछ बैट्समैन लेंगे, एक विकेट कीपर लेंगे, राइट? देयर माइट बी डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स, रीजंस, because of which you are selecting specific batsmen. So it might be, let's say it might be कि उसका ओवरऑल लास्ट 5 साल का रिकॉर्ड बहुत अच्छा है, या फिर उसका अभी का रिकॉर्ड बहुत अच्छा है, या फिर एक और फैक्टर ये हो सकता है कि अभी जिस पिच पे वो मैच हो रहा है उस स्पेसिफिक पिच पे किसी का रिकॉर्ड अच्छा है। तो दीज आर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स। ऐसे ही बॉलर्स हम सेलेक्ट करेंगे, उनके अलग फैक्टर्स हो सकते हैं, राइट? तो दीज आर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स जिसकी वजह से आप एक स्पेसिफिक क्रिकेटर को आप सेलेक्ट करेंगे अपनी टीम में। और ऐसे ही मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स होते हैं स्टॉक्स को सेलेक्ट करने के। और यहाँ पे मैंने 4 फैक्टर्स हमने लिस्ट किए हैं: मोमेंटम, वैल्यू, लो वॉल एंड क्वालिटी, जिसको लेके हम स्टॉक्स पिक करते हैं। बट दीज आर नॉट द ओनली फैक्टर्स। सिर्फ यही फैक्टर्स नहीं है हमारे पास। इंटरनली एसटी में हमने ऑलमोस्ट 100 फैक्टर्स की लिस्ट है हमारे पास, जो हम यूज करते हैं टू पिक स्टॉक्स। और होता क्या है कि ये फैक्टर्स हमेशा हर टाइम काम भी नहीं करते। कभी कोई फैक्टर काम करता है, कभी फिर दूसरा फैक्टर काम करता है। तो इस केस में we keep on selecting the stocks that are likely to work in current market scenario. That's what we are doing in these factor investing. Can we move on to the next slide? या तो ये फैक्टर्स अगर हम देखें लास्ट, ये डेटा है 2008 से अब तक, रफली 13 इयर्स का डेटा है। वी कैन सी क्लियरली कि मोमेंटम एज अ फैक्टर हैज डन फिनोमिनली वेल। बट बाकी और जो भी फैक्टर्स हैं, सब ने निफ्टी से अच्छा किया है। तो व्हाट दिस स्लाइड रिप्रेजेंट्स इज कि these are indices, these are NSE indices। तो जैसे NSE का एक इंडेक्स है निफ्टी 50, ऐसे ही ये भी और इंडेक्स हैं। और what we have seen is these factor indices are doing, all of them are doing better than Nifty. So factor investing works, it works in the long term. One thing is clear, that momentum is the best. But another thing that we'll see on the next slide is uh, these factors keep on rotating. कभी मोस्टली मोमेंटम काम करता है, बट एट टाइम्स मोमेंटम आल्सो लूजेस मनी एंड वैल्यू और क्वालिटी कैन वर्क वेल, राइट? तो फैक्टर्स की जो परफॉर्मेंस है ये भी मोस्टली शिफ्ट होती रहती है। वी कैन सी फ्रॉम लास्ट ईयर, नॉट लास्ट ईयर ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग वर्क वेल, but last to last year in 2022, what happened was momentum was losing money actually. So any other momentum fund if you pick, it would have lost money, whereas value did phenomenally well, right? Can we move on to the next slide, Isha? या हियर इट इज। तो इसमें आप देखेंगे मोमेंटम काफी अच्छा काम करता है, बट बहुत ज्यादा बार ये भी होता है कि कभी लो 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 वॉल काम कर रहा है, कभी आजकल वैल्यू भी बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा था। तो फैक्टर्स की रोटेशन शिफ्ट रोटेट ये रोटेट होते रहते हैं, कभी कोई अच्छा कर रहा है, कभी कोई। एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी आर नॉट फिक्सेटेड ऑन वन फैक्टर। हमारे portfolios, we don't only use momentum, but as I've told you, we have 100 factors and we pick which are the factors that are likely to work, and then we construct our portfolio. So if we move on to the next slide. Yeah, so no specific factor is our favorite. नो स्पेसिफिक मार्केट कैप इज आवर फेवरेट। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ स्मॉल कैप या सिर्फ मिड कैप से पैसा बनाते हैं। वी सेलेक्ट फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ दीज थ्री, वेयर एवर द बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटीज, हम वहां से स्टॉक्स पिक करते हैं। एंड सेम वे विद थीम्स और सेक्टर्स। बहुत सारे लोग या बहुत सारे फंड्स एक स्पेसिफिक थीम, एक स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर में पैसा डालते हैं, but we do not have any specific theme. We are agnostic to all of this. We pick whatever is working in the market at that point of time. And that is why, if you see, we have been able to very consistently perform across the last few years, actually. Right? And that is the value add. If you move on to the next slide, that is the value add we are doing. That we don't look at only the most popular factors. There are many funds who are looking at top one factor or top two, three factors, but we have over 100 factors. And these factors are technical in nature and fundamental. So it's not that we are ignoring fundamentals. We are using technicals also, we are using fundamentals, as well as we are using macroeconomic factors like oil prices, gold prices, inflation, interest rates. All of these have impact on specific sectors and industries. And we do capture that information as well. We keep on rotating our factors. And the way we have combined factors is historically it has been tested with last 15 years of data. And the biggest advantage with this systematic algorithmic approach is कि हमारे जो systems हैं वो कभी भी जो human एक fund manager या investor के दिमाग में emotions काफी आते हैं, कभी हम greedy होते हैं, कभी fearful होते हैं, ये सारे emotions are just eliminated क्योंकि हमारा एक बहुत ही अच्छा rule based approach है। तो we do not get driven by these emotions, right? So I think that's how we have been adding. If there are specific questions, Isha, जो methodology के around है, तो we can answer them, or we can move on to the rebalance update also.
Yeah, Vivek, I think we can take everything together because the questions are very specific to the rebalance update also. So we could probably take it afterwards.
Okay. So if you move on to the rebalance update, the first slide shows is large, mid, and small cap allocation across the months and in this month also. So what we can see here is the large cap up until December was about 20%, but now suddenly in January it has actually increased. So we are seeing a lot of good opportunities in large cap stocks, and that's why our allocation to large cap is 40%, mid cap is 44%, and small cap is 15%. And if you see historically over the last 1 year also, the average of this would be somewhere around 40 to 45 for large caps, right? So we have been following that average, and now we are currently in January back to that specific average. There's a lot of noise in the market. Uh, these are overvalued or even mid caps. But I think the algorithm across the years, it has taken care of these overvaluation, undervaluation very well. And we can see it in this month's allocation also, that large cap has suddenly increased from 20% to 40%. And we are not driving these decisions. These are systematically done rule-based approach, as I was explaining earlier, right?
Right. Okay. Vivek, you paused for me. Can you hear me?
We can move on to the
Yeah, Vivek, can you try switching
I can
off
hear you.
your video, please? I think that might help.
Yeah.
There is some network issue, it seems. I'll also switch off my video so that your bandwidth doesn't take it up.
Okay, ठीक है. I have switched off my video. यहाँ पे in this slide, what we are showing is how we have allocated our portfolio across the sectors. ठीक है. तो इसमें if you see, we have January weights in the third column, and also BSC के क्या weights हैं. ठीक है. So if you see, active weight is the difference between January weight and जो index जो हम use करते हैं, हमारा जो benchmark index है BSC 500 उसमें. तो IT सेक्टर में हमारा वेट अभी 25%, 15%. सो हम IT सेक्टर पे ओवरवेट है, हम इंडस्ट्रियल्स में ओवरवेट हैं, और यहाँ पे हम थोड़ा सा रियल एस्टेट में भी हम ओवरवेट हैं, whereas the other sectors we are underweight. जैसे कि फाइनेंशियल्स में हम सबसे ज्यादा अंडरवेट हैं, इंडेक्स में इसका वेट 24% है, जबकि हमारे पास रफली 10% ही है, राइट? और consumer discretionary, all of these sectors we are underweight. So
Vivek, your voice is breaking a lot. Is it possible to change the internet connection?
it is consisting of active weight, yeah, state going forward, at least for January. That's how. Sorry.
Vivek, your voice is breaking a lot. Is
Hello.
it possible to change the internet connection?
Just give me a moment. Let me try that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Sure. So meanwhile, I can take up some questions. Let me see. Yeah, I'll go to the starting. Can you please present the stocks that you've put into the portfolio with a timeline of entry and exit of each stock? This would be extremely tough. We can see if we can do a blog, of all the stocks that we have had and how they have performed. But the timeline of entry and exit is tough, and we would want to understand the objective also of why you want to do it, because as Vivek has mentioned, it is a quant-driven approach. So we are not really timing the market. We are just analyzing based on the factors we have, when is the right time, when should we enter. So there is no timing that is done manually.
Yeah, Eesha, am I audible?
Yes, Vivek, you're audible now.
Hopefully, it should be better.
Yeah, maybe. Let's try. Let's try.
चलिए, ठीक है, let's try. तो yeah, you are taking some questions या फिर हम continue करें?
It's okay, we can continue, Vivek. Let's complete this, then we'll take questions at the end.
Okay, thank you. Right. So, जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे, there are few sectors like IT, industrials and real estate, जिसमें अभी हम overweight हैं, and rest other sectors we are underweight. ठीक है? So these are the changes that we have made. We'll quickly, we'll also take you through last year's performance, but अभी के लिए, Eesha, do we take any questions?
Sure, Vivek, let's do that. So we have questions on,
Yeah.
Why does Gulaq not provide the rationale behind churning and adding the stocks in year
Okay.
6?
हाँ. Right. So rationale, it's a good question. See, the problem with providing, we don't want to hide anything, but जैसे हमारी methodology है, जैसे मैंने अभी आपको समझाया कि हमारे पास 130 factors हैं, ठीक है? 130 factors में हम क्या करते हैं कि let's say एक factor ले लेते हैं, let's say momentum factor, और momentum factor भी हम 3-4 तरह अलग-अलग definitions, अलग-अलग formulas हैं, जैसे हमने momentum factor define किया हुआ है. तो और उसको हम रैंक करते हैं फिर, तो those rankings या scoring is done actually for each of these 130 factors. तो एक्चुअली वो एक मैट्रिक्स टाइप का बन जाता है, जिसमें हमारे पास मान लीजिए कि एक साइड में सारे स्टॉक्स हैं, 500 स्टॉक्स हैं, और हर एक 500 स्टॉक को मैं 130 फैक्टर्स पे रैंक कर रहा हूं. उसके बाद मैं पिक कर रहा हूं कि विच आर द फैक्टर्स, कौन से ऐसे फैक्टर्स हैं जो अभी मार्केट में काम करेंगे.
Hello.
और उसके बाद मैं उनमें से कुछ फैक्टर्स पे, अगर इसमें रैशनल कुछ निकालना हो तो इट्स प्योरली ड्रिवन बाय दीज नंबर्स. हेलो, या तो द रैशनल इज प्योरली ड्रिवन बाय नंबर्स, और इसीलिए अगर वो नंबर शेयर करते भी हैं तो आपको सिर्फ वो नंबर्स की वजह से कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा. तो इसीलिए हमारे लिए वो काफी डिफिकल्ट रहता है टू प्रोवाइड दैट स्पेसिफिक रैशनल.
Okay. Yeah, Vivek, you're with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, now next question that we can take is, someone is asking why rebalance is fixed every month.
Okay.
The person Zamir, he's saying that it feels that the stock is about to fall. So if we can
Okay.
update it before month end, and if flexible, if rebalance should be
Yeah.
flexible.
सो जमीर, इसमें व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज, हमारे रिसर्च टीम, जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि वी आर नॉट फिक्सेटेड ऑन परफॉर्मेंस, वी आर फिक्सेटेड ऑन आवर मेथोडोलॉजी. अब मेथोडोलॉजी में वी कीप ऑन ट्राइंग आउट मल्टीपल थिंग्स दैट वुड वर्क. तो अगर आपका ये, जैसे आप एक आइडिया सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तो हमारे पास जब भी कोई नया आइडिया आता है, व्हाट वी डू इज वी गो बैक, वी लुक एट लास्ट 15 इयर्स ऑफ डेटा, और हम देखते हैं कि ये लास्ट 15 इयर्स में काम किया है या नहीं. तो ओवरऑल इफ मेरे रिटर्न्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं या फिर रिस्क रिड्यूस हो रहा है, तो वो आइडिया हम सेलेक्ट करते हैं. तो द आइडिया दैट यू हैव सजेस्टेड, वी हैव बीन रिसर्चिंग दिस आल्सो अ लॉट, कि हम सिर्फ स्टार्ट ऑफ मंथ ना करें. जब भी मार्केट में कुछ उथल पुथल हो जाए या बहुत वॉलेटिलिटी हो जाए, तब हम अपना रीबैलेंस कर लें. बट ओवरऑल द रिटर्न्स दैट वी हैव बीन एबल टू सी विद द काइंड ऑफ रिस्क, what we have implemented currently is what we have, जो अभी तक बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स जिसने दिए हैं इसी मेथोडोलॉजी ने दिए हैं. बट वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि हम ये कभी आगे कर नहीं सकते चेंज. अगर हमने कुछ एक ऐसा मेथड फिगर आउट कर लिया जिसकी वजह से हम रिटर्न्स और इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, और ये वाला जो आपका आइडिया है, ये भी हमने काफी बार टेस्ट किया हुआ है, अभी तक इससे रिजल्ट्स इंप्रूव नहीं हो रहे हैं. मे बी शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन में कहीं हो रहे होंगे, बट ओवरऑल व्हाट वी वांट टू सी इज ओवर लॉन्ग टर्म रिजल्ट्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं नहीं, इंप्रूव हो रहे हैं. एंड वी हैवंट बीन एबल टू इंप्रूव आवर मेथोडोलॉजी बाय डूइंग दिस. एंड दैट इज व्हाई अभी तक जो हमारे को बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स मिल रहे हैं वो स्टार्ट ऑफ मंथ रीबैलेंस करने से ही मिल रहे हैं.
Right. And I think that being said, Vivek, if let's say in the middle of the month there is a there's a market crash or some scenario where we know that the markets are falling badly, we have always maintained that in case of any such situation, we will be flexible at looking at an early rebalance.
Yes.
But that really depends on the situation at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Someone is asking if they need to put
Either early rebalance or a specific stock is impacted, तो उसको हम
right.
definitely we track that.
Right. Sure. Now, Vivek, Aman Gupta is asking a good question. Given the markets are at an all-time high, so he's asking if it is wise to start investing in year 6 right now.
Yeah, Eesha?
I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's
देखिए,
on
हमारा
your
हमेशा से
connection or mine. But yeah, Vivek, I think I couldn't hear you properly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Isha. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the question was, is it a wise decision to invest in
Yes.
year 6 when markets are at an all-time
Yeah.
high?
Yeah. See, मार्केट्स ऑल टाइम हाई हर 1.5-2 साल में बनाता रहता है. ठीक है. अभी जो मार्केट है, ऑल टाइम हाई बोलने का मतलब है कि अब मार्केट यहाँ से नीचे ही गिरेगी, एंड वी डू नॉट नो शॉर्ट टर्म में क्या होता है. वी रियली have very little understanding of what impacts the market in short term overall. अगर आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट होराइजन 3 से 5 साल का है या और ज्यादा है, तो आई डोंट थिंक यू हैव एनीथिंग टू वरी अबाउट, एंड यू कैन कीप ऑन इन्वेस्टिंग इन इक्विटी मार्केट्स. अगर आप अगले 6 महीने या सिर्फ 1 साल के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तो उस केस में इक्विटी मार्केट्स में घुसना अभी के लिए काफी रिस्की हो सकता है. अभी क्या, फिर वो कभी भी रिस्की हो सकता है अगर आपका होराइजन शॉर्ट टर्म है. So I think that is the only thing that you need to see. How long can you hold those stocks for? अगर आपका horizon 3+ years है, 5+ years है, तो I don't think there is any need to worry about the valuations. Markets will keep on going up over long run. That's what we know for sure. In short run, we really don't know what can happen, right?
Right. I think this also answers another person's question who was asking if it's the right time to increase the SIP amount. So again, I think the rationale remains the
Yeah.
same. If someone is investing for the short term, then increasing SIP into equity products might not be a good idea. You should focus more on debt.
Exactly.
Okay. Now someone is asking that they're unable to find us on ICICI Direct. That should not happen because ICICI is also one of the brokers on Small Case. So you can log into Small Case app or smallcase.com and you will be able to connect to your broker from there. If you're unable to, please feel free to write to Small Case support or Gulaq support and we will help you from there.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of questions on the rebalance, whether it's fixed. We have already taken them. Okay, so Mayuresh is saying that he's He wants to understand the reason behind the 0.7% allocation. I believe one of the stocks might have had that, Vivek. So, what are the key factors contributing to such a decision?
See, again, there's no key factor there. At times, what happens is that allocation काफी कम हो जाती है, जैसे less than 1% आपने बताया. और ये भी इनफैक्ट हमने जो बैक टेस्ट में देखा है कि इफ वी रिमूव जो सबसे छोटे एलोकेशंस हैं, तो बहुत ज्यादा रिटर्न्स में बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट नहीं आता है. बट रिस्क जो हम बोलते हैं कि वॉलिटिलिटी, राइट, वो बढ़ जाता है थोड़ा सा. ठीक है,
राइट.
तो बहुत मटेरियली कुछ भी चेंज नहीं होगा अगर हम एक या दो स्टॉक हटा देंगे या ऐड कर देंगे. इट्स जस्ट दैट वी हैव डिसाइडेड कि वील फिक्स इट एट दिस थ्रेशोल्ड. देयर आर सम थ्रेशोल्ड्स, राइट. इट्स नॉट द नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक्स, इट्स डिजाइन टेक्निकली, बट वो थ्रेशोल्ड्स यहीं पे आके फिक्स हुए हैं. यहाँ से हम एक या दो स्टॉक अगर हटा देते हैं या ऐड भी कर देते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा मटेरियल चेंज नहीं होता है. और थोड़ा सा रिस्क में भी बढ़ जाए अगर हम और कम करेंगे नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक्स. तो So that is what we have seen. It really won't make or break the system. एक दो स्टॉक ऊपर नीचे से, frankly. So we
Okay.
can as well remove also, but this is what we have decided कि these would be the thresholds we'll use in the near future.
Right. And I think if you're creating a portfolio, Vivek, so apart from the returns, the risk is also something that
Risk
we
is
try to balance.
exactly.
And by having those stocks, even at a lower weightage, might be helping us balance the risk in some way.
Yeah, it helps. It definitely has some impact on the risk, as I said. And risk is definitely we do value how volatile our portfolio is a lot.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Nilesh is asking कि गुल्लक में कितना फंड इन्वेस्टेड है. So विवेक, हमारे AUM numbers कितने हो गए हैं recently, if you.
So AUM is more than 200 crores. But I think एक बहुत कॉमन सा कंसर्न आता है कि जब ये बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा तो इट विल स्टार्ट इम्पैक्टिंग द रिटर्न्स.
Right.
तो
That's another question, Vivek. Yeah.
ओके, या तो ये काफी कॉमन क्वेश्चन है. आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी जेन्युइन कंसर्न. एंड आई थिंक करंटली जिस स्टेज में अभी हैं हम, 200 करोड़, आई थिंक यहाँ से अगर हम 5 टाइम्स भी बड़े हो जाते हैं, रफली 1000 करोड़ तक भी अगर हम मैनेज करते हैं, तो इट विल रियली नॉट इम्पैक्ट द रिटर्न्स, right? One thing is definitely our churn, which we are controlling, and in the near future we'll update our portfolios shortly. तो उसके लिए भी हम एक स्पेसिफिक वेबिनार करेंगे. जब भी हम वो करेंगे, we'll explain what are the changes in that. But अभी के लिए, at least as far as the size is concerned, I think we are nowhere near where it will start impacting our returns.
Right. Okay. Dave is asking that some of your stock exits have increased. They keep going up after such exits. So how is that possible in the 130 factor based system?
See, definitely it's possible. I think, Eesha, can take, if you can show the returns, if we have month-wise returns, and that was also one of the questions somebody has asked.
Right.
So, see, what we are not saying is that every decision we make will be perfect, right? So, if you see last year returns, last year has been phenomenal, right? I think 65% कुछ returns थे हमारे last year. But if you see month-wise returns, Jan में भी underperformed. Jan में the index fell by 3.3% और Gulaq Gear 6 fell by 5.5%. Feb was close. June again we underperformed. June में markets were up by 4.3%. हमारा portfolio बस 1.8% बढ़ा. तो what we are not saying is Gulaq will, all our decisions will be right. Every month we will outperform the benchmark, or every stock we select is going to make us money. Right? We are never saying that. What we are saying is, as a portfolio, what we are trying here to do is trying to beat the benchmark. अगर benchmark ने 12% दिया है, तो क्या हम 15, 18, 20, 25% उससे ऊपर दे पाए हैं या नहीं? That is how we measure ourselves, not by individual stocks. तो last year हमने roughly 55 stocks को select किए थे. When we have that data here, we selected around 55 stocks. Out of those 55, in 18 stocks we lost money. So that is definitely possible, even if we are doing 130 factors. 130 के अगर वो 500 factors भी हो जाएंगे, तब भी वो possible है. but the performance should be judged on the basis of overall long-term alpha. Alpha is कि हमने benchmark को कितना अच्छे से beat कर पाए हैं over long run, not over 1 month or 1 quarter. Right. And I think by that measure we are doing fine. अगर आप, can you, Eesha, take us to the stock-wise performance?
The stock-wise performance, Vivek, I don't think we
Yeah,
have
individually top 10 versus bottom 10. We had that
sure.
kind of data, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, even this one. So I think this is where we maybe focus on, and this is one key metric. तो हमने जो 58 या 56 stocks जो हमने positions ली थी in 2023, the top 10 stocks made on an average 70% returns, और जो losers भी थे हमारे, और जो losers थे, we lost 13%. And I think this is the key thing, that जब भी हम कुछ stock select करें, it is able to make much more than the losing stock. We are not trying to eliminate losers. We cannot do that. But we can eliminate कि हम उसमें जो अगर loser हैं, तो हम जल्दी से जल्दी identify करके उसको अपने portfolio से बाहर निकालें. And I think that we have been able to do efficiently looking at this data. That average loser, these are the top losers, lost about 13%. And when we are right, we make about 70%. These are the top 10 winners.
Right.
Right. तो definitely stocks और बहुत सारे ऐसे होंगे जो हमारे एल्गोरिदम्स पिक नहीं कर पाएंगे, जो बहुत अच्छे स्टॉक्स हैं, ऐसा हो सकता है. आउट ऑफ 500 स्टॉक्स, गुल्लक गियर 6 में रफली एवरेज 12 to 15 स्टॉक्स होते हैं, और बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टॉक्स होंगे जो बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे भी होंगे खराब कर रहे हैं. बट ओवरऑल एज अ पोर्टफोलियो वी वांट टू सी, एंड वी आल्सो वांट टू डोंट टेक ह्यूज रिस्क. वी वांट टू, आवर रिस्क should be somewhere in line with the index. That's what we try to do. These are the overall returns of 56 stocks, in which 38 were in profit and 18 were in loss.
Yeah, this is for the entire year that we've.
This is for the entire year, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can quickly take some other questions and then take everyone through these slides. So I think Faraz is asking a question which we need to clarify. It's important. He's saying that he invested in Gear 6 on January 4th this year, seeing a CAGR of 60%. Can he expect the same CAGR going forward?
ये क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली लास्ट ईयर भी किसी ने पूछा था.
अच्छा.
लास्ट ईयर आई रिमेम्बर दैट. I said कि we should not expect this high performance, 50-60%. It's almost impossible to deliver. We were lucky कि इस साल भी अच्छे रिटर्न्स रहे, 60% से ज्यादा रिटर्न्स रहे हैं इस साल. But same question was asked last year, and I would say कि we as investors should not expect this kind of performance. Frankly, I can tell you my expectations कि market में these index would generate over around 12 to 15% over long run, annualized. Or what I expect from our Gulaq Gear 6 is maybe about 20. I'll be very happy if we do 20% over next 10 years, annualized 20%. Somewhere between 20 to 25 is maybe people can expect, but definitely not 50 to 60%. अब वो एक साल हो सकता है, एक साल फिर से आ जाए ऐसा, एक दो साल फिर से ऐसे आ जाए. They'll definitely be few years, but they'll also be years जहां पे हम अंडर परफॉर्म भी करेंगे. ऐसे आ सकते हैं, अभी तक नहीं आया, बट आई शुड हाईलाइट कि ये डेफिनेटली पॉसिबल है, राइट. एंड ओवर लॉन्ग रन आप कहीं भी देख लीजिए, 10 साल में से कुछ साल हम अंडर परफॉर्म करेंगे, कुछ हम आउट परफॉर्म करेंगे, बट ओवर 10 ईयर्स अगर हम मे बी 10% अल्फा क्रिएट कर पाते हैं, 10% एनुअलाइज्ड अल्फा, I think that will be a very good achievement. But one should definitely not expect 50 to 60% over long run.
Got it. I think that was important to clarify, because people should not nobody can guarantee returns in the market. So while we can show you what our past performance has been, we can only tell you the expectation, but cannot guarantee anything. And like Vivek said, what should a reasonable expectation be? Now, someone is asking that I have 5 lakh rupees and I'm investing that in Gulaq right now as a lump sum, as the only investment. Is that a good way to go about it?
No, I don't think that's a good way. I think one should always try to diversify. तो अगर आप एक let's say निफ्टी 50 में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं दैट इज ओके बट वन शुड ऑलवेज ट्राई टू डाइवर्सिफाई और
Right.
डाइवर्सिफाई से भी पहला स्टेप अगर आप इन्वेस्टिंग स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं अपनी जर्नी तो जो हम बोलते हैं कि आप एक रिस्क प्रोफाइलिंग सर्वे कीजिए वो गुल्लक.com पे भी जाके आपको टूल सेक्शन में मिल जाएगा उससे आपको पता लगेगा कि आप कितना रिस्क एपेटाइट है आपका ठीक है तो उससे फिर आपको पता लगेगा कि आप कितना परसेंटेज आपको इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए कितना डेट में अगर आपका रिस्क एपेटाइट हाई है तो वो इक्विटी परसेंटेज कैन बी हायर अगर रिस्क एपेटाइट हाई नहीं है तो इट शुड बी लोअर एंड देन इक्विटी वाला पार्ट फिर आप 2 या 3 फंड्स में स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं बट आई वुड नॉट रियली रिकमेंड टू पुट एवरीथिंग इनटू गुल्लक व्हाट आई वुड रिकमेंड इज कि आप इसको 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर दीजिए आप 1 या 2 म्यूचुअल फंड्स या इंडेक्स फंड ले लीजिए और एक पार्ट गुल्लक में कर दीजिए दैट्स व्हाट आई वुड रिकमेंड
Right. Okay. Now, someone's asking if we can provide the monthly, quarterly performance of the portfolio for last 2, 3 years. So I think what we can suggest is that that you can look at this particular chart. आप small case पे जाएंगे तो आपको ये chart visible होगा. वहाँ पे if you click on download chart option, you will get all the data. You will get our net asset value, which is NAV, for every date from the beginning, from the time we are live till now. तो उस पे आपको प्रॉपर you are wanting to compare it with the benchmark and mutual funds. So this data is publicly available and इससे आपको returns भी मिल जाएंगे और comparison भी आप कर सकते हैं. And that data is exactly what we have presented here on the screen in this chart. I hope that answers the question. Vivek, lot of people, I just saw I scroll down, a lot of people are complaining about the network connectivity and they are suggesting if we could take this webinar from office the next time. I think we can try to do that so that we are on a stable connection. And I apologize for the network connectivity for
yeah
everybody present.
really sorry about this usually the network I am currently using works better than the office one and that's why I
Okay.
prefer taking these webinars from this but we'll
Okay.
take
Okay.
due
Yeah.
care from next time
Next time we'll try the office connection and see how that goes. Now, Vivek, another question is, Kunal is asking if the final list is selected manually. So we can just clarify.
no not at all there is simply no human intervention while constructing our portfolios zero that can only happen see the only human intervention is in methodology तो हम मेथोडोलॉजी हम अपना रिसर्च पे काम करते हैं और हर 3-4 महीने में एक बार हम अपना जो मेथोडोलॉजी है उसको अपग्रेड करते हैं ठीक है तो दैट्स द ओनली ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन अदरवाइज स्टॉक सिलेक्शन में कोई इंटरवेंशन नहीं होता है
Now, someone is asking why we don't put a stop loss on the stocks to protect an investor's portfolio.
हाँ तो इसका भी वही क्वेश्चन है इसका भी आंसर यही रहेगा कि हमने ये एक्चुअली ट्राई किया हुआ है और स्टॉप लॉस से देखिए होता क्या है कि स्टॉप लॉस जो खराब स्टॉक्स हैं हमें उसमें फायदा होगा कि हम जल्दी निकल पाएंगे उन खराब स्टॉक्स तो लॉस लिमिट कर देंगे लेकिन अगर अच्छा स्टॉक है तो अच्छा स्टॉक भी निकल सकता है उससे तो स्टॉप लॉस से जरूरी नहीं है कि हमारा परफॉर्मेंस हमेशा बेटर ही हो राइट तो इसीलिए स्टॉप लॉस और ये सारी चीजें हम ट्राई करते रहते हैं आगे भी करेंगे बट टिल नाउ वी हैवंट बीन एबल टू फिगर आउट हाउ टू मेक इट वर्क इफेक्टिवली उससे रिजल्ट्स ओवर लॉन्ग रन खराब ही होते हैं राइट और दूसरी चीज उससे वही है कि हमारी मेथोडोलॉजी अगर हम किसी भी टाइम रीबैलेंस कर देंगे तो इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए अभी अभी फिक्स्ड है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ एवरी मंथ वील रीबैलेंस सो दिस प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी और उसमें भी काफी इन्वेस्टर्स लेट हो जाते हैं रीबैलेंस करने में तो अगर हम किसी भी टाइम कर देंगे तो उससे एक और प्रॉब्लम ये भी आएगी कि इट इज डिफिकल्ट फॉर इन्वेस्टर्स टू कीप ट्रैक फॉर एवरीवन टू कीप ट्रैक एंड लॉट ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स would miss out on those updates also बट हैविंग सेड दैट स्टॉप लॉस जरूरी नहीं है कि वो बेटर ही करे कुछ कुछ पोर्टफोलियोज या स्ट्रैटेजीज के केस में ऐसा हो सकता है कि स्टॉप लॉस वर्क्स अगेंस्ट यू
Okay, interesting. Okay, some user is asking that they see 16% weightage in large cap as against 40% roughly as presented in our PPT. So that should not be happening, right, Vivek? We, I think, recently moved to large cap a lot. So if the rebalance is done properly, this issue should not be arising. Yeah.
No, I think the issue is the classification of large, mid, and small cap. So can you go back to that only? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the classification of large, mid, and small cap. What
Mm-hmm.
we use is the Bloomberg classification. So the Bloomberg classification is any stock which is more than $5 billion in market cap is large cap. Any stock between 2 to 5 billion is mid cap, and below 2 billion is small cap. That's the classification we are using. This is the standard classification from Bloomberg. Uh, but I think what you might be mentioning is there's another classification by, I think, AMFI, which states that top 100 stocks are large cap, 100 to 250 is mid, and 250 onwards it's small cap. So these are two different classifications, and here what we use is uh, a Bloomberg classification of $5 billion for
Hmm.
large cap. So the difference might be coming because of that.
Got it. Okay. Sunil Meal is asking कि हम आप rebalance कर रहे हो सर, but आप same stock को again high पर buy कर रहे हो. ऐसा करने का क्या reason है? Vivek, are you there? Hello.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah, Vivek.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
couldn't hear you.
Sir,
आपने मेरा question
yeah, yes, I heard your question.
Okay. हाँ जी.
Yeah. So the reason would be that our algos are finding or determining that that is the best opportunity we can figure out. So even though it is at high, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि वो स्टॉक मोमेंटम में है और हम मोमेंटम को काफी हाई वेट दे रहे हैं अभी, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दैट स्टॉक इज गेटिंग सेलेक्टेड.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So that would be the reason ki, yeah, momentum stocks are getting selected and we are giving high weightage to momentum. And that is that would be one of the reasons why it's getting selected.
Understood. ठीक है. I hope that answers your
Yeah.
question. Now, Nanna Chappava is asking that what is your suggestion on profit booking from LTCG, STCG and reinvesting back in Gulaq Gear 6?
So is he trying to ask ki, let's say somebody has invested in mutual funds and book some profits from mutual fund and exit that and reinvest some part in Gulaq Gear 6?
I believe so,
So,
Vivek. There's no clarity. This is all that he has mentioned.
yeah. Yeah. So see, in that case, what we always say is if your mutual funds are great, taxation wise also they are great because if you hold mutual funds for let's say 5 years, you're not taxed during those 5 years. And whatever profits you made, you keep compounding on that. So that ways mutual funds are great. But if you have, let's say, some mutual fund which is underperforming, which has been underperforming, and there are quite a few mutual funds which underperform. If you have such funds in your portfolio, then definitely yes. In that case, definitely yes. But if you have pretty good mutual funds in your portfolio which have performed, uh, then I doubt. Then it's not clear case, right? It's not a clear case of transition. It might help you, it might not help you. But if your funds are not performing well, then there's no reason why you should stay invested. You should look for good opportunities, and Gulaq Gear 6 is one of the better performing funds overall. So, yeah.
Okay. Aman is asking that do these returns include small case charges and taxes or just the PNL of stocks?
No, these are the gross returns. So this
Right.
does not include small case or our advisory fees or the transaction cost that you encounter while rebalancing. So there is definitely some loss. So if the gross returns are, let's say, 65, there's no way you're going to realize that 65. There's going to be some leakage there, and it depends. I think the biggest factor would be a brokerage. So if your brokerage costs are low or zero, then those slippage or leakage would be low. But if you're paying a big part, if your brokerage costs are high, then you will be having much bigger costs, right?
Right.
So these are gross returns.
Right. Now, Satish is asking, what's the probability of Gulaq Year 6 performing well during long-running bear markets? I think, Vivek, we do have a slide talking about that, right?
Yeah, that was kind of flattish to bearish market. Not really. We haven't seen
Okay, we don't have the slide right now.
a real bear market since COVID.
Right.
It's been just 3 years, but what we have is during that uh, I think it's the last slide.
I couldn't find it, Vivek. It's not
Gulaq Gear
part of the
6.
presentation.
Okay. So by the way, we do have a blog. I would encourage, yeah, that is missing from this PPT, but we do have a blog in which what we have seen is for about 1.5 year period when markets are not going nowhere, just maybe 10% higher or lower. But for those 1.5 years, markets had just given zero returns. And during those 1.5 years, Gulaq Gear 6 was able to give about 35% returns. So that is one out of 3.5 years, 1.5 years, markets were range bound, and during that time, we performed pretty well. And we have also written a blog around this. So I would encourage you to go to gulaq.com, check out our blog section, and that we have that specific data.
Right.
Another data point that we have is of backtesting. So, and we'll update that blog or write a new blog. But during 2020 COVID fall, we were obviously not live. But during that time, what we have seen is our drawdown was almost half of that of the index, BSE 500 index. So I think BSE 500 index fell maybe 35 to 40% on a monthly basis, and our drawdown was about 20% or so. So that time also our overall risk or in terms of drawdowns were also lower. But that was backtest. Live, I've told you, during those 1.5 years, we outperformed pretty well the markets.
Right. Okay, I think a lot of people are complaining that we're not answering their questions, but there are 300 plus comments. So it just gets, so this is just what I want to tell everybody that, we will be doing another webinar at the middle of the month as well. So we'll be open to taking questions there in case we miss out on yours. And we are there for another 30 minutes online taking questions. So please bear with us. We'll try to take as many questions as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, Harshad says in Japan, stock markets kept falling over decades. What to do if we witness it in India as well?
If that happens, there is really nothing we can do about it, frankly. Yeah. But I think India is not really, Japan at that time
Yeah.
was in a bubble. From there, it actually fell and it has been falling. So I think India is not at that stage currently. We have a young growing economy, young growing population. I think one of the not only from emerging markets, but overall world, be it developed market or emerging markets, emerging economies, we are one of the best performing ones. So at least in the near future, let's say next 5 years, 10 years, I don't really think we can be in that place where Japan was and currently coming out of. At least uh, I have limited understanding, but I don't see it in next 5 to 10 years. Definitely not.
Right.
Right. We are, I think, very, very well placed in terms of overall globally, the way economies are shaping up. We are very well placed for next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. That's true.
I think one of the biggest what we have seen is over the FII holdings. So FIIs have pulled out a lot of money and it is at a decade low. So even though FIIs have pulled out so much of money, I think local investors, domestic investors have been putting in uh, lot of through SIPs, lot of money has been flowing in.
Right.
And let's say whenever US starts decreasing their interest rates, I think those funds are going to come back. And one of the best places globally would be Indian equity markets.
Right. Right. Okay. Someone's saying if it is required to park funds in liquid instruments, would we do that to mitigate downfall?
So see, we have other portfolios like Gulaq Gear 5, which has 20% in debt and 80% in equity. So overall, if your risk appetite says that you need to reduce your risk, one of the things that you can do is move to another Gulaq portfolio, be it Gulaq Gear 4 or Gulaq Gear 5. But in order to reduce risk, specifically talking about Gulaq Gear 6, in order to reduce risk, what we do is we'll move to safer factors. So I was talking about factors and momentum, though it is one of the best performing factor. But what we have also seen traditionally is these momentum stocks tends to lose money also when the markets start falling. And if you are able to shift at that time from momentum to say value, which works well or falls much less than the overall market value or low wall, uh, then we can reduce risk. So that is our way of reducing risk. We don't reduce risk by going into cash, because then the challenging part is how do you deploy that cash back into the market, which is not easy, right? So the way we reduce risk is moving to safer factors, which will help us select the stocks which are likely to fall less.
Right. Right. Vivek, another question I'll take. Sohil is asking, since monthly rebalance incurs a lot of costs, what would your recommendation be for investment strategy and amount into Gulaq to beat the market?
See, Gulaq is beating the market even if you take your rebalancing costs and your brokerages and your even taxes, right? So even after that, Gulaq is beating the benchmark handsomely. But some of the thing that I think, as I mentioned some time back, the brokerage cost is definitely something that you can take a look at. And if you are paying higher brokerage, you can just go back and negotiate with your broker because you would be churning a lot in Gulaq portfolios, and there's a good probability that these guys would offer you better rates or move to a broker which gives you a better rate, right? So that is one thing. From our side, what we are doing is we are focusing a lot of our research capabilities on reducing the churn
Right.
without impacting the returns, without increasing the risk, right? So that is something that we have been focusing a lot on. And in the near future, there's good likelihood that we move to that newer model, which actually helps us reduce the churn without impacting the returns.
Right. Yeah, Vivek, you have already answered Sanjay's question. He was requesting the same, that churn thoda control kare because STCG बहुत लगता है.
Definitely, that is higher in our list of research
Priority.
area. Yeah.
Yes, 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 definitely. Sharat Chandra is asking that please provide updates for Gear 5 as well. So I think we can do that, Vivek. We can provide
Yes.
updates for all the portfolios from the next AMA
Sure.
onward.
Yeah, I will do.
Okay. आई थिंक एक्सपेक्टेशंस लोग पूछ रहे हैं हमारी रिटर्न्स की, वो हम ऑलरेडी कवर कर चुके हैं प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस में. Another Swapnil is asking, my portfolio is now 15 lakh rupees. So I want to do investment in only 15 stocks. What is your advice? Should I take your PMS?
The PMS definitely makes sense for someone who is investing higher amounts because that portfolio is much more diversified in nature. So anyone who is investing higher amounts, PMS would definitely make sense. So you can get in touch with us, get to know about the PMS, whether it makes sense for you or not. You can decide that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
if it is getting closer to those bigger numbers, then PMS definitely makes sense.
yeah, and Vivek, what will be the coordinates for anyone to reach out to us for PMS?
So our PMS landing page, you can go to our website or even on gulaq.com. If you go to gulaq.com, there's a PMS link. You can just follow that. So that will be the easiest. Go to gulaq.com and you'll find a link for PMS.
Okay, at one point in time, how many stocks are you holding?
Yeah, the average number is somewhere between 12 to 15 always. And
Right.
but depending on the new methodology that we'll be moving to, which will be slightly lower churn, this number of stocks might increase a bit, but as of now, it is around 12 to 15.
Okay. Uh, Shailaja is asking total number of subscribers in Gulaq Gear 6 right now. In Gear 6, we might not know, but we would know the total across the 4 products, Vivek.
Yeah, the biggest is obviously Gear 6, but we don't have that number. But AUM, I think we have already told AUM wise, we have crossed 200 crores.
Yes, yes.
And total investors have been about 15,000, but that includes the other portfolios as well.
Yeah. Okay. I think you've already covered the question on being in cash for some time in the bear markets. So, Meher knows your question is answered, I think. Kumar Saurabh is saying it doesn't make sense why people are bothered about individual share performance. One should always look into the overall portfolio performance. I think that's exactly what we've been also trying to tell everybody, all our investors, that if you are not doing active trading, you should just, you should obviously choose the advisor carefully. You should compare the returns of different products out there. But once you have invested, you should just worry about the performance of the overall portfolio. And if you're really a long-term investor, you don't need to track it daily or even weekly. Because we all understand, right? I don't know if you follow our Instagram page, but there has been an interesting reel that we posted on the story of elephant and blind men. So imagine you and I are people who are doing day-long jobs and we don't have time to look into the share market as much as people who are actually doing this full time, like our research team. So we might have our own biases. We might be aware of only few factors. Like for example, I have a commerce background, so I'm focused more on fundamentals. Someone might prefer looking at technicals more or following the news more. So we might miss out the uh, other factors and the important information the other factors are conveying, and we might not be able to invest with a full big picture view. So that's why we always say that if you're unable to track the markets and look at all the factors possible, it might just make sense to invest the time and energy to choose a good advisor, to choose a good product, and then stick to it. And of course, after every, say, 6 months, you evaluate that whether the advisor and the portfolio you chose made sense or not, how that is performing, and you change that advisor or the portfolio if it is not up to your requirements, rather than looking at each and every stock of all the portfolios that you are holding. Vivek, if you want to add anything to this, please feel free.
No, I think you have explained it pretty well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Sanjay is saying if you can speed up things. Yeah, Sanjay, we're trying our best. As I mentioned, we'll be doing another webinar. So hopefully you'll be able to get. I can't see any question from you, so please post it again if I've missed yours. Google MI. Okay, someone is asking. Please take. I'm a long-term value-based investor. Is Gulaq Gear 6 a good option, keeping the long-term strategy in mind?
See, I don't know whether it's specifically meant for value investor. It's meant for investors to produce good returns over long run. We don't only pick our stocks based on value as a theme,
Hmm.
right? So we are not fixated on value where we are fixated on is providing the best risk-adjusted returns. So obviously, if you ask me, can you improve the returns? Yes, definitely 100% we can improve the returns from here. But that would mean taking much higher risk also. So we
Right.
don't want to do that. We are optimizing for Sharpe ratio, which is the risk-adjusted returns, right? So now coming back to that value as a theme, that is one of the themes. And we do give it a lot of weightage when the markets are not doing well, or when the markets are telling that this is the theme which is likely to work well, right? But we don't pick our stocks always on the basis of value as a theme. And it really shouldn't matter to the end investor, frankly, right? At the end of the day, what matters is whether we have been able to provide, we or any fund has been able to provide you good, consistent returns over long run. That is what matters. Whether it's coming through quant investing, or whether it's coming through regular stock picking, or through technical analysis or fundamental analysis. Frankly, it does not matter if the returns and risk are in line, right?
That makes
At
sense.
the end of the day, what matters is good, consistent long-term performance. और वो
Right.
किसी भी तरह से आ सकती है, वो वैल्यू से आ सकती है, मोमेंटम, या मिक्स ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दैट,
Right.
राइट? तो हमारा फोकस है मिक्स ऑफ दीज थीम्स, मिक्स ऑफ दीज फैक्टर्स.
Right. So Neeraj is asking, the entry criteria is multi-factor. What is the exit rationale?
See, same है. There's, let me put it this way, कि there is no exit as such इसमें. What we are doing is, at the start of month, we are rebalancing our portfolio, updating our portfolio, जिसमें हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम बेस्ट स्टॉक्स पिक करते हैं फॉर द फ्यूचर, राइट? So we are not really exiting, we are actually, exit is कि if we are able to find a better opportunity. अगर हमें एक स्टॉक जो हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में है उससे कोई बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है तो हम उसमें मूव हो जाते हैं, ठीक है? तो that is how the algorithm works. You can call it exit criteria, you can call it rebalancing or update, but that's how we are just trying to pick the best stocks. तो जो एग्जिट होते हैं those are not the best stocks. It does not mean कि वो आगे अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं करेंगे,
Right.
राइट? बट एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हमें लग रहा है कि उससे बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे पास, इसलिए हम उससे निकल के दूसरे स्टॉक में मूव हो रहे हैं.
Right. So it's a single model. It's like a model that is running and it's evaluating everything, and it is telling us that next month mein, these are the best stocks that you should pick up.
Yeah.
Okay. Abhik is asking, I'm transferring 10 lakhs from mutual funds through SIP, or should I transfer the whole amount at once?
I think I've already answered. I would never encourage anyone to just blindly exit from mutual funds and invest in Gulaq Gear 6. Definitely not a good strategy. जो मैंने पहले भी आंसर किया था कि be diversified, pick at least 3 funds, maybe 3 to 4 funds overall for your equity investments. जिसमें
Right.
से एक part can be this Gulaq Gear 6, which is what this means is कि आपकी जितनी भी equity investments हैं उसमें से अगर आप let's say on the higher side 30% इसमें डालते हैं तो ठीक है, but don't go over and above that.
Yeah, so total equity investments में से 30, 30, 40, something like that, 1/3
Something,
in
yeah.
any one product. Also, Vivek, I think he's asking whether SIP is better or lump sum. Like if he has 10 lakh rupees that he wants to invest right now, should he take the SIP route or is lump sum okay? I think this is another question that we receive very often.
Yeah, तो what I would encourage कि 10 lakhs है, कोई छोटा अमाउंट नहीं है, एक डिसेंट अमाउंट है. What I would encourage is कि आप एक बार जाइए gullak.com पे और वहाँ पे आप एक SIP वर्सेस लमसम का हमने उसके बारे में काफी लिखा हुआ है, आप उसको एक बार पढ़िएगा. उसमें काफी क्लियरली है कि सी दिस इज इन्वेस्टिंग इज अ गेम ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी. जैसे हमने बताया कि हमने अगर 50 स्टॉक सेलेक्ट किए उसमें से 70% प्रॉफिटेबल थे, 30% लॉस मेकिंग थे, तो देयर इज नेवर अ सर्टेनिटी कि यही होगा. वी आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू इम्प्रूव द प्रोबेबिलिटी इन आवर फेवर. तो ये जो SIP वर्सेस लमसम की बात है, दिस इज ऑल्सो प्रोबेबिलिटी इन नेचर. तो ये कैसे वर्क करेगा कि अभी यहां से अगर मार्केट्स नीचे गिर जाती हैं तो एसआईपी वुड सीम अ बेटर स्ट्रैटेजी, राइट। और मार्केट्स अगर यहां से नहीं गिरती, ऊपर ही जाती जाती हैं, तो एसआईपी में लॉस होगा, लमसम वुड बी बेटर। तो अगर आप हिस्टोरिकल डेटा देख के आप डिसीजन लेना चाहते हैं तो डेटा के हिसाब से लमसम इज बेटर। कितना बेटर है? रफली 70% ऑफ द टाइम लमसम वुड वर्क वेल एंड रेस्ट 30% ऑफ द टाइम सिप वुड वर्क वेल। ठीक है, तो दोज आर द नंबर्स। बट इन लॉन्ग रन, इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग फॉर लॉन्ग रन, और अगर आप कंफर्टेबल नहीं है एक साथ 10 लाख डालने के लिए, तो एक बहुत ज्यादा लोग क्या करते हैं कि वो ये डिसाइड कर लेते हैं कि 5% गिरेगा तो मैं 50% डाल दूंगा, और 10% गिरेगा तो 100% डाल दूंगा। द रिस्क इन दैट काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजी इज कि अगर वो नहीं गिरता 10%, देन यू आर ऑलवेज सिटिंग एट द साइड लाइन्स, विच हैज हैपेंड फॉर मैनी इन्वेस्टर्स। सो द बेटर अप्रोच विड बी कि अगर आप एक साथ लमसम नहीं डाल सकते हैं, आपको थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा है, कंफर्टेबल नहीं है, तो आप एक काम ये कीजिए कि आप अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को लेट से 6 इक्वल पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करके ओवर द नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ्स आप डाल दीजिए। ठीक है, तो दैट इज वन ऑफ द बेटर अप्रोचेस इफ यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद लमसम। तो डिवाइड योर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स इन 6 or 9 equal parts, and over the next 6 to 9 months invest everything into whatever you want to invest into equity.
Right. Okay, Atul is asking Vivek that you rebalance on 1st of every month. His SIP is on 15th of every month. Is that okay?
Yeah, not a problem really.
Hmm.
Not a problem. It really does not matter. It again, अतुल, आप अगर गुल्लक.com पे जाके एक हमने इसके अराउंड एक ब्लॉग लिखा था, समथिंग अराउंड लक वर्सेस डिसिप्लिन। ठीक है, तो व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इज ओवर लॉन्ग रन आपका डिसिप्लिन। आप चाहे वो फर्स्ट को डालें या 15th को या 30th को, वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंस क्रिएट नहीं करता है। व्हाट क्रिएट्स अ डिफरेंस इन योर पोर्टफोलियो इज कि आप कितने डिसिप्लिन से हर मंथ बहुत सालों तक आप ये सिप डाल सकते हैं, क्रिएट मतलब मार्केट में पैसा थ्रू दिस सिप डाल सकते हैं। दैट इज आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट फैक्टर in creating wealth over long.
Right. Deb and someone else also I saw was asking what's our target churning rate in the future that saves taxes and other fees. So do we, I know Vivek that our research team is working on creating something, a portfolio with which can reduce the churn without impacting returns much, but do we have anything to share yet?
नहीं, as of now I don't have anything to share. But we are close to finalizing, and we'll definitely keep everyone in loop. We'll invite you to to that webinar where we are going to share all the details. There's no target as such. We just want to reduce as much as possible. We are just in the final stages, so it'll be good if we can wait for a couple of weeks and then we'll take this up.
Understood. Okay. Wilson is asking that, if you could have a format of submitting questions in advance, it can be sorted and answered. The presentation was hijacked by questions today. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
think
suggestion. Sorry, yeah,
this
Vivek.
is a good idea, Eesha. We are getting a lot of. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Eesha, ki it's a very good suggestion. I think we should take these questions and categorize it at the beginning. It'll be
Yeah.
easier for us to answer a lot more questions, right?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Let's do that, Vivek, from next time onwards. Um,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
what else? I think a lot of questions I see are getting repeated. Let me quickly scroll through. Okay, so Mohit is asking since inception, how many negative months you had compared to positive months? What was the maximum fall, and was there any in-between communication to investors on how to deal with it?
So we do have one slide at the maximum fall towards the end, Isha.
Yeah, this is the one, Vivek. Maximum drawdown.
Yeah. So I think this number for Gulaq Gear 6 was about 20%. For the benchmark, it was about 18%.
Right.
ठीक है, तो those are the maximum drawdown. But if you look at this chart, we were able to recover faster also. from this fall. Okay. So this is from around October 21 to June, July 23. This 1.5 years period, Nifty was exactly flat. And because we were able to recover faster, we actually gave 35 to 36% returns in this 1.5 years that I was talking about. Okay. So this is regarding the drawdown. Uh, Regarding the number of months, I think we have that data for last year. About 2 or 3 months we underperformed. Can you go to that slide? I don't have specific data for prior to 2023, but yeah, that is something that we can get back to everyone on. But last year there were 2 or 3 months. Feb was equal, minus 2.7%, but 2 months to be precise, where we underperformed the market. But historically also, see, there have been, I think this is what the expectation should be, that every year there'll be at least maybe 3-4 months where we'll underperform the market. In the past also, I've seen there have been 3 to 4 months consecutively also where we underperformed the market. So that has happened in the past, but I don't have the actual data. But that is what the expectation should be for everyone, that there'll be few months, few quarters even, we'll underperform.
Right.
There hasn't been a 12-month period where we underperformed, but it's very hard to to actually avoid that at some point on the time over long run, over next 10 years. We'll have
Right.
that, I think.
Right.
That happens with everyone.
Hmm.
So at some point, it might happen to us also.
Okay. Okay. I'll take a few operational issues that people are facing. So, actually,
Yeah.
questions that they have. Devashish is saying that in the small case website, he can see amount to be invested in this small case is 24,000. Why is the whole amount not being used for purchasing the shares? I think Devashish, 24,000 is written, that's the maximum. So it could be, there could be months where if you're a fresh investor, you might be able to buy all our stocks for a lower amount as compared to 24,000. But there is no real upper cap. So you can feel free to put in 24,000 or even a little more if you want. Anything to add from your side, Vivek?
Uh, I think that amount is also not too different from that 24,000. And what I've seen is, at times when you invest, when you're doing fresh investments or new investments, that amount could be higher also. So I've seen in my case, whenever I'm doing, say, let's say 50,000, 1 lakh, that amount is at times slightly higher also. And that depends on the price of stocks, because the price of stocks intraday is moving a lot, because of which it might be slightly lower also.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it shouldn't be too different from 24,000. That's what I
If
feel.
it is too different, you can reach out to our support and we can see if there is a technical glitch. But it shouldn't be more than 5,000-6,000, less than 24,000.
Yeah, not even 5, 6. I think it should be even much, much lesser.
Okay.
But yeah, if it is higher, I haven't really seen those kind of cases. But if it is actually, you believe it's a high number, please do get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to look at what has happened, why it has happened.
Right. Okay. Someone's asking why, when you provide 1 year membership option instead of 3 or 6 months. So just to let you know, we are a SEBI registered investment advisor, and we are not allowed to charge our clients for more than 6 months of fees in advance. That is why 3 and 6 months. You would see some managers on small case allowing 1 year, charging for 1 year, but that is because they are research analysts, not investment advisors. This is a segregation difference by SEBI. So as per
But,
law, we can only charge up till 6 months.
but please do write to SEBI. Ask them that this is required. I do feel, see, as a customer, I
Yeah.
am myself a customer, and I do
Hmm.
understand where it's coming from. So it will definitely help everyone in this ecosystem if we are able to provide
Yes, that's true.
1 year. Yeah.
Okay. Any plans to subscription rate changes in the coming days or year? Vivek, what do you have to say on that?
Really not given this a thought. So, so can't comment. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, Someone is saying Naveen applied 33% discount but had to pay in full. Naveen, you
Hmm.
can see if the discount code is still eligible. Like when you applied, was it still valid or not? If it wasn't valid, it wouldn't have worked. But if
But
it was valid, you can reach out to us.
yeah, but what happens is, I don't know what has happened in this Naveen's case, but Naveen, I think the way it works is ki, when you are applied the code, you're creating a mandate also uh, future uh, for future payments. So that mandate, I think that gets created for the exact amount of, let's say, 2,900 if it is a 6 month. But for the first time, you would still get that 33% off. So I've seen people, some of the people get confused about. So these are two different things. One is the mandate for future, and one is the current, this time, subscription fees. So the mandate for future is still for that full amount, but I'm not sure whether that is the case in your case. It could be that maybe the coupon, then there's some error or something else could also
Hmm.
happen. Yeah.
Right, right. So I think Sumukh is asking, there are 3 companies in our portfolio where there is offer for sale expected in the next 2 months. Since market did
Okay.
not react well for OFS, what's our take on that?
So I'm not, again, I need to check this data that the premise that markets would not react well to that offer for sale.
Hmm.
Uh, why are we having it?
Right,
So that premise, I'm not 100% sure whether how correct that is.
right,
And
right.
again, I am not really sure whether we have seen that historical data also, that
Hmm.
what happens. So
Hmm.
please allow us some time. We'll look into this specific OFS thing and
Hmm.
get back on this. It might be in the next webinar, or it might be through a blog, but we'll definitely answer your question. I've
Right.
noted it down. So this was from Naveen.
This was from Sumukh.
Sumukh. Okay. So Sumukh, please allow us some time. We'll definitely get back to us. But thanks for asking this question.
Okay. Vivek, just a time check. So I'll have to drop because I have another meeting starting in 5 minutes. But if you would, if you have some time, maybe you can continue.
No, I 8:30 is another meeting planned for me as well. But
Okay.
we can definitely take up the questions in the future also. We'll plan one more webinar shortly,
Yes,
right?
definitely. Let's plan one more webinar in
Yeah. Let's take few more
within the.
questions and then we can wrap. Yeah.
Sure. One question that Shrikant is asking again is that what's the maximum amount to be invested to get good returns in year 6?
See, maximum, I don't know, minimum at least I would encourage everyone to go up to 2.5 lakhs, because the fees you're paying for the year is about close to 6,000.
Hmm.
तो अगर वो 2 लाख से कम है तो आपका जो फीस आता है, दैट इज अबाउट 3% ऑफ योर ओवरऑल एम, विच इज ऑन द हायर साइड, राइट?
Hmm.
तो आई वुड एनकरेज एवरीवन कि किसी ने अगर छोटा स्टार्ट किया भी है तो जल्दी से जल्दी वो 2.5 3 लैक्स उस रेंज में पहुंच जाए।
Hmm.
उसके ऊपर जितना ज्यादा आप जाएंगे, 10 लैक्स पे आपकी फीस 0.5% रह जाती है, रफली 0.5 0.6%। तो जितना ज्यादा आप इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, क्योंकि ये फिक्स्ड फी प्लान है, उतना ज्यादा आपको फायदा होगा। तो देयर इज नो मैक्सिमम एज सच, बट मिनिमम आई वुड से इज, ऑल्दो वी स्टार्ट विद 24,000, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि लोग ट्राई आउट कर लें हमारा पोर्टफोलियो, एक्सपीरियंस कर लें हाउ स्मॉल केस वर्क्स और किस टाइप की रिकमेंडेशंस हैं, ऑल ऑफ दैट।
Hmm.
बट आई थिंक द मिनिमम इज 2.5 3 lakhs इन दैट रेंज, रियली। मैक्सिमम ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मैक्सिमम अगर आप 30 40 50 लैक्स उस रेंज में जब पहुंचने लगते हैं, तो व्हाट वी से इज की maybe you can have a look at our PMS product, which is actually meant for somebody who is investing 50 lakhs or higher. तो
Right.
जब आप उसके आसपास पहुंचते हैं तो फिर आप PMS भी देख सकते हैं।
Hmm. Great. Okay. So I think Vivek, a lot of people are saying that their questions got hijacked because there's been an influx of lots of questions today. But we take Wilson's advice and we will definitely, I think, share a form in advance of our webinar for the next one, so that we can take up as many questions, segregate them.
Let's do one thing. I think these questions, we should definitely make a note of these questions that we haven't answered. And let's plan a webinar in next 1 or 2 weeks to answer these questions or any more questions that we have. So let's do that.
That makes sense. Yeah,
So
definitely.
we'll definitely plan one more webinar before next month, maybe in next 1 to 2 weeks, to answer the other questions, definitely. And we'll prioritize these questions first, right?
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for joining, and please stay tuned. We'll be coming back to you for answering your specific questions that we've missed out today. And thanks a lot, Vivek, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And from next time, I'll try to take it from office.
Yeah. Right.
Chalo, thank you. Thanks a
Perfect.
lot.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.